3 years, PHARMANIAGA Logistics St. Berhad is required to facilitate an e-tender to review the unit price, approved products, and selection of suppliers under the Approved Products Purchase List or APPL price revision exercise for the Ministry of Health and Teaching Hospitals. If you are in the healthcare industry and looking for new business opportunities with the government, you are in the right place. Hello and welcome to the APPL e-tender briefing. For those of you who are new, APPL or Approved Products Purchase List is a list of products approved by the Ministry of Health to be supplied under the concession agreement between the government and PHARMANIAGA Logistics St. Berhad. We will now begin this briefing by introducing PHARMANIAGA Logistics St. Berhad and our role as the government concession holder. Then we will guide you on the preparation and submission of the tender application, which includes the following. Step 1. Online e-tender module submission. Step 2. Tender documents and product samples preparation. Step 3. Tender submission process and flow. We will also brief you on the security and confidentiality, tender evaluation, and selection process by the Ministry of Health, followed by the performance standards between successful tenderers and PHARMANIAGA. PHARMANIAGA is one of the largest integrated healthcare government-linked companies in Malaysia. Our headquarters is located in Bukit Raja, Shah Alam, Selangor, with branches nationwide. You can also Waze us for the exact location. As a concessionaire to the government, we are obliged to provide the following services: purchase, store, supply and distribute products in the APPL to all public sector customers under the Ministry of Health and Teaching Hospitals. Facilitate e-tender exercise every 3 years on behalf of the Ministry of Health for the revision of price, products and suppliers in the APPL. For your information, the list of products and its specifications, tender evaluation and selection process are all determined by the Ministry of Health. Among the performance standards that PHARMANIAGA must adhere to include: buffer stocks must be maintained for 3 months for essential products and 2 months for non-essential products. Delivery of products to public sector customers must be made within 7 working days for Peninsular Malaysia and 10 working days for East Malaysia. Products supplied by PHARMANIAGA shall be strictly in accordance with the Ministry of Health specifications. Delivery of products shall be on a door-to-door basis. Delivery must be done within office hours only, between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. excluding lunch hour and Friday prayers. The temperature for cold chain products must be maintained within 2 to 8 degrees Celsius at all times throughout the delivery. Compliance to good distribution practice standards as laid down by the relevant authorities. The performance standards as mentioned are to ensure PHARMANIAGA is providing excellent services to the Ministry of Health and indirectly to the public. Failure to adhere to any of the performance standards will result in the Ministry of Health penalizing PHARMANIAGA. We will now walk you through the first step of the tender submission, which is the online quotation submission in the e-tender module. For best viewing, you are advised to use Google Chrome or Firefox to open the e-tender online module. First, you can either enter the direct address at etender.pharmaniaga.com or log on to PHARMANIAGA's website at www.pharmaniaga.com and click the e-tender icon on the lower left side of the screen. You will be taken to PHARMANIAGA's e-tender website. You will be given a user ID and password via letter from PHARMANIAGA, and you may log in using the user ID. Kindly change your password immediately upon login to ensure your login information are safe and secure. Once you are logged in to the e-tender system, you are reminded to take note on the tender closing date. You may now select the product category. For example, click on pharmaceutical. You will be shown the list of e-tender pharmaceutical products. Let's click the first product. A window will pop up with the product name and estimated quantity. Please take note that the estimated quantity is in the smallest unit. Click on the product code to view the product specification. The product specification will appear in a new window and it is in PDF format. You can save it onto your computer for future use and reference. Once you have viewed the product specification, you may return to the main page to purchase your tender key if you are interested in submitting a tender quotation for the product being viewed. To purchase your tender key from the main menu, click on the sentence "Click here to purchase tender key" located above the product list. By hovering your cursor to tender and click Purchase Tender Key, you will be allowed to select which product to purchase tender key by ticking the specific checkbox. Once you have selected your product or products, click Add to Cart. You will be taken to the shopping cart screen, which will show the list of products that you have selected and the total cost of tender keys that you need to pay. Click Checkout to proceed with the purchase, or you can add more products by clicking Add More. A message will pop up to remind you to download the product specification. Click OK if you have done so. Before you can proceed for payment, you will be presented with the relevant documents relating to the e-tender, namely the e-tender guidelines and general terms and conditions and salient terms of the supply agreement. Please take note that these documents are very important and you are required to read, understand and agree to it before being allowed to proceed further. You will be taken to a screen showing the payment method and instructions. Please click Confirm once you are agreeable with your purchase. Once you have confirmed your tender key purchase request, you will see the purchase tender confirmation screen. You are advised to print screen and remember your tenderer ID number for your reference. To enter your quotation, hover the cursor to Tender at the top of the page and click on Submit Tender. You will be taken to the Submit Tender screen, which will show the products that you have purchased. To enter your quotation, product information and specifications compliance, click on the product code. You will be taken to Form A and Form B, which are the online tender documents. You may proceed to fill in your quotation details in Form A. You need to check to declare that the price quoted is the CIF, inclusive of all applicable taxes excluding GST, and agree to be bound by the performance standards and the related liquidated ascertained damages or LAD upon award of the contract. Please note that all information required in Form A and company profile details are mandatory. However, the company information are being filled up only once, regardless of the number of products that you are participating. You may edit your company details by clicking Tools on the upper screen and click My Profile. After you have filled up the Form A and your company details, you are required to fill up Form B regarding the product specifications compliance. Once you have completed filling up the Form B, click the Save button to save the information that you have filled up. Once you have saved the completed Form A and Form B, you may proceed to edit them or submit them by hovering the cursor to the Tender menu and click Submit Tender. At the Submit Tender screen, you will see the full listing of incomplete and completed Form A and Form B. Editing can be made for both incomplete and completed forms. However, submission can only be done for completed forms. You will also notice the completed forms cannot be submitted if you see the padlock symbol in the checkbox used for quotation submission. This is because payment for tender key has yet to be received and verified by PHARMANIAGA. You will only be allowed to submit the online forms after PHARMANIAGA has received payment for the tender key. Once PHARMANIAGA has received payment, the Submit button will be enabled and you can submit your quotation by checking the box and click the Submit button. A pop-up window will appear for the confirmation of online quotation submission. If you wish to amend the quotation, you may click Cancel and edit the online forms. Please be advised that once you have submitted the online quotation, you will not be able to edit or resubmit the online quotation. Now you have completed Step 1. To complete your tender submission, we will now walk you through Step 2, where you are required to prepare the tender documents and product samples. The documents that you need to prepare will include the following: hard copy quotation, which consists of Form A and Form B, company profile, product documents, and finally, product samples. Once you have successfully submitted your tender quotation, you are required to print hard copies of Form A and Form B for submission to PHARMANIAGA. You may do so either by clicking the Print button or by hovering the cursor on Tender menu and click Print Form A and Form B. You will be able to print hard copies of Form A and Form B from this screen by clicking the printer icon. These forms are to be printed on an A4 size paper on portrait format. All hard copies Form A and Form B should be signed by an authorized personnel in your company and stamped with a company stamp before submission to PHARMANIAGA. Insert the printout of Form A and Form B into an A4 size envelope. Please take note that you should have one quotation envelope for each product that you are tendering. Quotation envelopes should be sealed before submission. Product code and product description should be clearly labeled at the top right corner of the envelope. You are reminded to use only a non-transparent A4 size envelope. Please do not fold the forms or the quotation envelope. Next, let us prepare the company profile. The company profile should contain the following information: background of the company, including nature of business, organization chart, company's accreditation and achievement, if any, Form 9 or Form 13, Form 24, Form 49, Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia or SSM certificate, Ministry of Finance certificate, Bumiputra certificate if you are a Bumiputra company, latest company audited accounts for the past 2 years, GMP or ISO certificates if any, manufacturing license if you are a manufacturer, pharmacist poison license if you are submitting for pharmaceutical, medical device authority establishment license if you are submitting for non-pharmaceutical, any other relevant documents. All these documents should be compiled and filed in an A4 size management file and separated using an index divider labeled with the subject title. Please take note that only one company profile per company is required, regardless of the number of products you are participating. For pharmaceutical, the product documents should consist of certificate of analysis for the sample batch, product insert or literature, other relevant documents such as bioequivalence report. All the product documents should be compiled in an A4 size management file and to be labeled with the product code and the product description. Please take note that one product document file is required per product unit sample. Therefore, you need to submit 4 product document files to accompany 4 units of commercial packs of pharmaceutical samples. However, there are certain product samples that require a pictorial form. All pictorial samples should be filed together in the product document with a clear label of the product code and product description. The pictorial sample must be in full-size picture of commercial product and actual label. Kindly refer to Part 1 of the product specifications for further details. For non-pharmaceutical, the product documents should consist of certificate of analysis for the sample batch, medical device authority or MDA certificate, or proof of application if registration is in progress. Other relevant documents such as CE certificate. All the product documents should be filed and inserted in an A4 size management file and to be labeled with the product code and product description. Please take note that one product document file is required per product unit sample. Therefore, you need to submit 7 document files to accompany 7 units of commercial packs of non-pharmaceutical samples. All pharmaceutical and non-pharmaceutical product samples must be submitted in their respective commercial packs. For each pharmaceutical product, insert 4 product document files and 4 units of product samples in one box, and tag the box with a pre-printed label indicating your tenderer ID number, product code, and product description as stated in the product specification. And for each non-pharmaceutical product, insert 7 product document files and 7 product samples in one box, and tag the box with a pre-printed label indicating your tenderer ID number, product code and product description as stated in the product specification. In summary, you will have one or several quotation envelopes depending on the number of products that you are participating, 1 company profile, 4 sets of product documents and samples for each pharmaceutical product, or 7 sets of product documents and samples for each non-pharmaceutical product. Now you have completed Step 2. We will now share with you Step 3 on the physical tender submission process and flow. Kindly be advised that you can submit your hard copy tender documents and product samples to PHARMANIAGA either during the tender period or on the closing day. For submission during the tender period, all online quotations and hard copy tender documents and product samples should be submitted to PHARMANIAGA's office in Bukit Raja from Monday to Friday between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., excluding public holidays. You can also submit all online quotations and hard copy tender documents and product samples to PHARMANIAGA's office in Bukit Raja on the closing day between 8 a.m. to noon. All quotation envelopes must be in the tender box by noon, failing which your tender participation will be disqualified. For hard copy quotation and product sample submission, tenderers are required to go through 3 sections. First, the screening and registration section, where the tenderer's documentation will be inspected to ensure all required documents are available and complete. The second section is the quotation submission, where tenderers will be guided to drop the tender quotation envelopes into respective tender boxes according to the product code. And third, the sample submission section, where the tenderer's product documents and samples will be screened through and inspected before the samples are accepted. Now you have completed Step 3. Due to the highly private and confidential nature of tenders, PHARMANIAGA is committed to keep all tender information, documents and product samples submitted by tenderers safe and secure. Tender quotations will be kept in tender boxes locked and monitored by the Ministry of Health officials. The PHARMANIAGA online tendering system is protected from external threats by utilizing multiple layers of firewalls. We use SSL security encryption and deploy HTTPS protocol to safeguard our e-tender website. The online quotation data is also protected from internal threats. Servers for the e-tender system is kept in a highly secured server room with thumbprint access only by authorized personnel. The system also maintains log files which record every system activity. The log file is made available for inspection by the Ministry of Health as and when it is needed. The tender quotation data stored in the system can only be accessed through a single master password kept by the Ministry of Health. Now we walk you through the tender evaluation and selection process. All tender documents and product samples received by PHARMANIAGA will be handed over to the Ministry of Health for technical and price evaluation. The Ministry of Health will then select successful tenderers. Once the selection is finalized by the Ministry of Health, PHARMANIAGA will receive the complete APPL list with the selected suppliers and approved prices. PHARMANIAGA will send a letter of offer or LOO together with a supply agreement to successful suppliers, and upon acceptance of the offer, both parties will implement the supply agreement as mandated by the concession agreement. The supply agreement contains various performance standards that must be strictly adhered to by contract suppliers. The main ones include the following. Products must be delivered on the delivery due date as stipulated in the purchase order or on such other date as stipulated by PHARMANIAGA. Products supplied must comply with the specifications as stipulated under the supply agreement. Products must have at least 85% of its shelf life upon receipt by PHARMANIAGA. For cold chain products, the temperature must be maintained between 2 to 8 degrees Celsius throughout the storage and delivery process from the suppliers to PHARMANIAGA. Suppliers are required to keep 2 months buffer stock of the products at their premises. Please be advised that there are other performance standards that must be adhered to by all contract suppliers. Failure to adhere to any of these performance standards will result in liquidated ascertained damages, or LAD, being imposed on suppliers. For further details on the performance standards, please refer to the salient terms of the supply agreement, which is available on the e-tender website. We are now towards the end of our briefing. For further guidance and reference on the e-tender module, you may refer to the user manual available under the Help button on the main screen. If you need any further assistance or other inquiries, please do not hesitate to contact us at 03 3342 9999 and request for Mr. Said Mustafa at extension 639 or Ms. Noor Haslin at extension 335. You can also email us at etender@pharmaniaga.com. And that concludes our briefing session. We would like to wish you all the best in your tender participation. Once again, good luck and bye-bye!